Oh boy, here we are. We're live, guys. Oh, and there's a bunch of comments waiting for me. All right. So for everyone who's going to watch this after the live and wants to know what's going on, I've got an opportunity to design my own guitar for people to go and buy. Obviously, that's why you would design a guitar this way. But long story short, I mentioned on the podcast, gosh, it must have been like 2 or 3 months ago, maybe 4 months ago, that if I had the opportunity, it might be fun to design some sort of kind of like budget guitar, some sort of, import guitar that's affordable. And this guy Hugh hit me up from Hutone Labs. He makes really, really just incredible looking, very boutique, very high end guitars. But he's been watching the channel and he's been working behind the scenes towards his own goal of making affordable versions of his guitars. I'll pull up some of those designs here. Well, I'll pull up some pictures of his guitars here so you can see who I'm working with. There we go. So here's some of the Hutone. I think it's Hutone. Hutonlabs. That's how you spell his brand name. But look at this thing. That's a rad looking guitar. He makes guitars that are thousands and thousands of dollars. He's got this like Ichiban style one up here as well, but he's working with EART right now towards the goal of making kind of affordable pickguard swappable kind of versions of his Cyclone design here. And I mean, he hit me up and he was like, "Hey, let's see if we can like get our orders together on the same thing, and maybe that can get prices down and stuff like that." He's already got things figured out as far as how to work with EART and whatnot, and EART's on board apparently to kind of figure out what I'm doing and figure out if we can make that into a production model guitar. Well, not production model, but something that can be produced and sold for people to buy in kind of limited numbers. So here's a bunch of designs I've been working on. I'm going to pull off the background that I have right now because it's bothering me. There we go. All right. So I'll leave this up and I'll start looking at some of the questions that are already coming in. Okay. Should I start at the top? Oh my gosh, there's so many questions already. Casey Peppers says make sure it has 17 or more strings. Okay, let's see if there's any comments here that I want to address. I don't know. There's so many comments now that I don't think I can keep up. All right, so let's just start looking at these guitars. You can ask questions. If you have a really important question, I guess Super Chat is the way to get my attention here. But I've got 3 offset designs here. The green one is really the one I'm leaning towards. Like, this is the desire of my heart and soul right here. I'm loving this shape. I'm loving the pickguard shape. It's kind of an homage to my Hallmark Swept Wing, this pickguard shape. Got a bit of a Jag Sting thing going on here. Got a bit of kind of like Teisco and like 60s import style things mixed with a Jazzmaster Jaguar sort of concept. None of the headstocks mean anything yet. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to design my own headstock or if we're going to be leaning into kind of the standard EART style headstock here, which is kind of a Shure style thing here. I did like a Yamaha style one down here. But yeah, this one is the one that I'm really looking forward to getting kind of price quotes on and seeing what EART can do as far as making this a reality. Let's zoom in on it a little bit here and look at some of the details. I mean, obviously you can tell the obvious details. I've got a Jazzmaster pickup in the neck. We've got an offset bridge and trim unit here, volume, tone, 3-way switch. And then I've got 2 switches up here to correspond to the 2 single coils. My thought is one of these switches will be a 3-way. So that one, and then both of them in the middle. And then the other switch will be series parallel options. So you can either have these combined in series or parallel single coil tones or humbucker tones. There's a lot of options there. And then other than that, I mean, it is what you see. This is not going to be, some sort of like crazy specced out thing. My goal is to try to make a guitar that is somewhat affordable. This is not going to be $1,000 guitar. It's not going to be a $2,000 guitar. I'm really hoping to hit like the mid hundreds on this, but it all comes down to the price quotes that EART gives us when we present the idea. And we're not going to be doing thousands of these guitars. It's going to be super duper low production numbers. Probably, I mean, hopefully 15 to 30. It really depends on what numbers they come back with. Like what it's going to cost us per guitar to have these made, and then figuring out what we can sell them for. Thankfully, EART says that they're on board to handle the distribution. So I'm not going to have, a pile of boxes in my house that I'm trying to sell one by one. They'll distribute them out of their warehouse is the understanding right now. So that kind of saves time on my side and effort and extra shipping that doesn't need to be factored in and things like that. But, with that in mind, I'm not going to have a final hand on any of these guitars. I'm not going to be doing final setup or anything like that. It's going to be as they come from the factory, but there's going to be just kind of an understanding that these are meant to be affordable budget guitars. So I'm going to look at the comments now and see what you guys are saying. Andrew Smith asks, will it accept a standard Fender style neck heel? I'm assuming this is going to be an EART build. So I'm not totally sure if the EART neck has a standard Strat style heel. That's really the question, because I'm not going to be looking to reinvent their production style. I might, if the money makes the most sense, I might just say, hey, take the neck that you already put on your Strat style guitar and just put it on this. We don't need to change the headstock shape. If I can do my own headstock shape, if it's not cost prohibitive, I will. But I have a feeling we're just going to stick to their standard neck shape, their standard heel shapes, and things like that. Let's see. Okay, I'm just going to read the most recent comments because I can't stay on top of everything. Fender needs to make more Squire Jaguars. The one out right now has some decent finishes, but they need to bring back Candy Apple Red and some cool new colors. Sure. I mean, Jaguars are painfully unrepresented in the Fender lineup right now. Facebook user says, take my money now. You don't even know what it's going to cost yet. You don't even know the details. Oh, man. Craig says, make a lefty, please. With the production numbers that we're going to do here, I kind of doubt we'll get into making lefties. I'm so sorry. If it is possible, then possible. I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't want to leave lefties out, but it is a tough one. Fraser Crow says a Mosrite body type would be hip. Yes. Well, you know what? If this does well, if it does decent, then I'll probably do it again. If this makes sense after doing it the first time, I'll probably do it again. I had a dream the other night that I had like a heavy metal style Mosrite with like a Floyd Rose in it, and it's been stuck in my head ever since. I need to mock that up. I need to mock up a design of that. Okay, so Vanessa says top and middle ones are definitely my vibe. So let's talk through the other models here that I've designed. The top one is me kind of exploring the space as if EART was just going to make a production model, EART branded Jazzmaster style guitar, but with some modern kind of different appointments to bring it more into that EART style. I gave it a humbucker in the bridge. I don't think EART would actually do Jazzmaster pickups. I could be wrong, so that's kind of my own addition here. I would see them kind of doing double humbuckers. Let's see if I can mock that up real quick. Got to lock a few layers here. Maybe I'll do a thing where if you guys want to call out changes you want to see made, I can do that. Things are all combined right now. All right, here we go. So that's kind of what I imagine EART would probably do if they were going to do a standard kind of offset production sort of thing. But I like having a Jazz Master on the neck pickup. And my thought was that this could have a coil split on the humbucker to give you single coil tones. Otherwise, pretty standard stuff, very close to a Jazz Master's shape. The pickguard is my own take on it. Here's, a real pickguard here. You can see the swoop here is a bit different. The shape down here is different. The shape over here is different. This whole shape is different. This is just me experimenting in that space. And of course, it's got the EART headstock on it. And then this other one was me just going like, hey, I'm already doing this. Let's have some fun and keep designing a little bit different body shape. I like this body shape, but I'm not as in love with it as I am here. This is kind of like in that kind of Eastwood, kind of Pure Salem sort of direction take on an offset. Like I could see either of those companies making something like this. Also kind of like a Revolta, I guess. I like the kind of half pick guard here and that fun sort of shape. These are pickups that Hutone was having made for his guitars. They're these really cool, like modern take on a Teisco square pole sort of thing. Apparently, he doesn't have the source to have them made right now. He's working on that for the future, but I thought it would be fun to mock that up. I've also got other pickups over here that I could slam in. We got like a wide range style humbucker thing. Could do the Jazz Master in the neck again. Get crazy. Put a Strat pickup. I don't know. This whole design is kind of back of my head, like just having fun with it right now. But this is really the one that I want to get price quotes on. All right, I'm gonna check on the comments yet again. Weird fret markers would be fun. I don't think it's weird enough. I mean, that is a possibility. It really comes, this is just like first step of this process, me showing you guys where I'm at, what I'm experimenting with here before I actually present to EART and actually get real numbers. If it turns out that the numbers are much lower than I suspect, and there's room for kind of fun appointments like custom fret markers and things like that, those are things that I'll be checking back in with you guys on. Like, hey, I think there's room to pad this out with, another $100 worth of like production fund. So let's, experiment with, fret inlays and things like that, or, interesting colors, maybe something a little bit more crazy as far as pick guards or finishes go. I don't know. But my goal right now is to start simple and to start as affordable as I can, because I want the experience of designing an afford guitar, like these budget kind of import guitars that I cover so often. It's really an interesting concept to me to think that I could design one myself. 7.25-inch radius. I forget. I have the tab open. Let me check right now. EART does a compound radius. Here it is, 7.25 to 9.5. So EART's standard necks have a compound from 7.25 to 9.5, which every time I've gotten one of the EART guitars in, I'm like, I'm totally fine. More than fine with their build quality, with the style of their necks and stuff like that. Their Strat necks kind of lean more modern, but in a way that I enjoy. They do the baked maple thing, which I really, really like. Their fret work is fantastic. Like EART is like, when I pitched that idea on the podcast that I would be open to doing this sort of thing, I didn't have any brands in mind. And the only, opportunity that arose from me saying that was for EART. And it's like, wow, that's actually kind of like a perfect pairing, because EART, like, honestly, like, they're doing something pretty different and pretty unique as far as build quality goes in this world of import, kind of affordable guitars. And some of their guitars are pushing up higher past 500 into the high 800s and stuff like that for their their headless things and fancy finishes and whatnot. But they've got a bunch of guitar. Their Strat style guitar is under $200 right now, 188 on Amazon right now. So I doubt I'll be able to get anywhere close to that number, but I'm really hoping that if we could get this made and sold around $500 or $600, I'd be pretty happy with that result. Yeah, One Fat Strat Cat says their stock neck is nice, best thing on their guitars. I think their pickups are decent. Like I've covered a lot of really, budget friendly guitars over the years, and EART's pickups are really decent. They're not necessarily what everyone wants, but there's also the idea here that I want people to be able to get one of these guitars and feel completely open to do upgrades, to do side grades, things like that. Like, we're not going to throw a mastery on this, stock. It's going to come with a stock kind of just affordable no name version of a Jazzmaster trim and bridge combo. It's going to be kind of bare bones. It's not going to be fancy pants hardware. It's going to be the pickups that we can get that make sense financially. This is not meant to be a full blown out kind of like high end sort of thing. Old school switches are nice. Yeah, I just want to do like Mustang switches or Jazzmaster Jaguar switches on there, a 3-way and a 2-way. Of course, once we get into the actual details with EART, those details might change. There might be better options or more affordable options or stuff that's just easier for them to work with. Trying to stay on top of the comments here. 60 cycles strum. Got to tell Hugh that I'm live. I don't know if he wanted to join in here, so I just texted him. Mark Pizzotti says 9.5 to 14-inch compound. Oh man, that would be I think a little bit too modern for this. But with with an adjustable height saddle bridge, you could pull that sort of thing off. You could make a super flat radius Jazzmaster if you put that style of neck on there. I'm really aiming for just their standard 7.25 to 9.5 neck on this. I don't think there's any reason to go hyper modern. But if I did that heavy metal Mosrite, that would be a perfect concept to have a super flat radius on there. 14 to 9.5 would be cool. Even like 14 to 12, like a slight compound. Like, I do enjoy a modern flat fast neck. And I think a Mosrite style would take that in a really fun way. Floyd Mastery. Oh, hey, Perfecto. Oh, man. All right, what else? I mean, I'm having trouble keeping up on the comments here. No, a built-in reverb. If you want to do that yourself, I mean, we're planning on doing pretty much a swimming pool route on these things to leave it open for people to, experiment if they want to modify them. There's a possibility of us selling extra pick guards and things like that, so that people can get crazy and do what they want. It is possible that, so much of this won't even be feasible once we get the numbers back from EART. They might look at the 2 single coil thing and be like, oh no, that's too wild. Or they might look at the Jazzmaster neck pickup and like, well, we can't really get those sort of things. I have no idea. Hugh from Hutone seems pretty confident. Hugh is in the comments now. So if anyone wants to ask him questions about technical stuff, he's the technical source on this. I'm the art guy. I'm just making pictures. He's going to be the one who kind of takes the files and spearheads, making sure everything is right, making sure all the details are all done just right. We'll look at his guitars over here again real quick. I haven't touched his guitars personally, but I've watched videos, and all the photos show just super high attention to detail, super high quality builds. He charges, what super high quality builds demand. Like, it's a very custom shop level stuff, which is why he's looking for down this route for his stuff as well, to do kind of more budget friendly stuff that everyday people can get into, you know. But yeah, look at that. That's a fun guitar. I like the push button switches too. Hugh keeps trying to sell me on like these fancy switches and stuff. I want to check them out in person, because that sort of switch might be totally an option for this sort of concept as well. Maybe just like 3 pickup selectors up here, and then or 3 pickup selector switches down here, and then put just the series parallel up here. I don't know. There's all kinds of options and all kinds of different ways that we could attack this. Hugh says, and we should do a budget JM pickup that is built correctly. So interestingly, Hugh and I were talking about possibly getting Roswell pickups, because that's not because, but Roswell pickups are affordable pickups that like Harley Benton uses a lot. And someone was just telling me in a comment, I haven't confirmed it yet, but they were saying they watched a video of someone taking apart one of those pickups that was in the Harley Benton JA. And apparently the pickup construction is Jazzmaster pickup construction. So that's something we'll be looking at for sure. That S pickguard is sick. You need one. S pickguard. I'm not sure what he means by that. Okay, Tender Stems is asking, what's the price range on these estimated to be? We don't know yet. This is just my concept art. We haven't gotten official price quotes from EART yet on the production of these. A lot of these details might change once we get those numbers. But I'm personally hoping that we'll be able to sell these in the mid hundreds. 500, 600, somewhere around there. I would be very happy with that result. Hugh says that his Cyclones will be around 650. So that gives you a good idea of what we're looking at here. And the Cyclones are going to, based on Hugh being just a stickler and going for more of a high-end build thing here and other details, I have a feeling his model is going to be more premium than what I'm going for with my build. I don't know that for sure, but just talking to Hugh, I get that impression, which is great. Okay. All right. Hugh has to drive now. Glad you were in here. I'm sure he'll jump into the comment section after this is done being live and be on top of everyone's comments if they want to ask him questions about his builds and his concepts and stuff like that. And people are saying, okay, Pedal for Review says 600 is not affordable. And then Tender Stems is saying 600 is affordable. Ted Jackal says 600 is affordable. The point is that it's more affordable than if I went to a US builder and had a custom line made. Like 600 is still approachable. Let me pull up EART on Amazon. Let's stop screen and bring up my Amazon screen here. So this is EART's production kind of loss leader Strat style guitar here. I covered one of these, I want to say like 2 years ago, and the details are all there. Like these stainless steel, like ball and frets that EART is famous for, really decent hardware like the bridge. I'm not a huge fan of the headstock shape, but it is what it is. But baked maple necks, they're great playing guitars. The pickups sound great. So I'm aiming for that quality point. I'm aiming for that hardware style as much as I can get it. The tuners on these are great, but 188 just is not doable in any universe, because that is like, they probably made, thousands of these things, and doing them at bulk is how they get that price down. Let's look at what else is in the EART shop, so you can see kind of their price range for stuff. I covered their semi-hollow recently, which is $399. They've got a headless for $332. They have a more premium fat Strat style thing here for 300, and they have a Telly for 260. They have a Les Paul style thing, which I covered that, and I thought it was great for basically 440. They do have a lefty for nearly 400, and so on and so on. So you can kind of see their price range here. See, here's one of their nicer ones, 769, and then 799. And it's really all going to come down to uh, the cost of the low order numbers that we're going to make, because we're not going to make 1,000 of these things. We're not going to be able to get bulk rate. It's going to be pretty low order numbers. I'm really hoping for 15 to 30 to see if there's even any interest. Here's another question, guys. Like I personally am not a huge fan of this style of thing, but is GoFundMe an option? If we get the numbers all figured out and it's not something I can do out of pocket, is GoFundMe an option where you guys would potentially be on board to crowdfund the production of a run of this style guitar, whatever it happens to end up being after revisions and things like that? Something to discuss in the comments. I personally get iffy about GoFundMe because I've seen it go wrong a couple times. Yeah, GoFundMe or Kickstarter, we would figure out whichever one makes the most sense. ID Unknown says do Kickstarter. I forget the difference. I know there's one that has better protections for the people funding it, where it's easier to get refunds and stuff like that if things really do go south. I just hate it when like people donate to a or support a GoFundMe or Kickstarter or whatever, and then the project just stalls for years, and then eventually people don't get their money, and then like the people involved go start another project and things like that. We've all seen them go sideways multiple times, and I don't want that to be an issue at all. Yeah, interesting. Iodine74 says, if you do that, offer merch, offer t-shirts of the designs as well to help pad out your money raised. Yeah, possibly. I mean, here's another question. If you make a pink one, they will buy. I don't even know. Like I'm assuming with low runs, like I'm talking about 15, 30 guitars, something like that. I'm assuming I won't have a lot of color options. I have no idea if I'll even be able to make, this color that I put in here. It would be great to like, if it was up to me, every single one would be a different color. It would just do a different finish on every guitar, but that would be incredibly expensive. So yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be one color for the first run, and maybe like each run is a different color, and maybe we'll do some sort of public voting or some sort of Kickstarter thing for people to get the colors that they want. I don't know. Like it really, we're going to find out how much demand there actually is for this sort of concept here. And I think it's going to end up being, a template for other channels to do this. Like if it's relatively easy for me to do this, then I could see all sorts of other channels partnering up with EART and other builders and coming up with their own kind of custom runs and fun little projects. One Fat asks, what is their minimum run? I don't actually know off the top of my head. Hugh has told me a couple times, and it is that in that 15 to 30 range. I don't know if that's a exclusive sort of number working with him or something like that. I don't know. There was a good question up here. Where did it go? Yeah, okay. Kickstarter can be shady, and if this doesn't work out and people don't get their money back, it could ruin your channel. That's exactly what I'm concerned about. I'm not worried about my channel being ruined. I'm worried about, people not getting their money back. I'm worried about people not getting what they thought they were buying. I don't like, if I can, if it really, if I can fund it out of pocket and have all the risk on me, I'll do it. But there's a chance that it'll be way too far outside of my personal budget. But it could be possible if I can personally fund it, then I probably will, just to avoid all that. I really don't even know the details yet. Siggy says, can't wait for the headlines. Mid-tier guitar and food YouTuber fails to deliver. Oh, I can't talk. It's so funny. Mid-tier guitar and food YouTuber fails to deliver on GoFundMe guitars. Yeah. Yeah. I super don't want that. Man. Scale. People are asking about the scale length. I'm thinking standard 25.5-inch scale. I'm not looking to reinvent the wheel here. I've said it earlier in the video. I'll say it again. If it ends up that I'm just going to use the standard EART necks that are on their most affordable Strat, I'll do that if that makes the most financial sense. I'm not looking to reinvent scale lengths here. I'm not looking to order, like a Jaguar scale or a Mustang scale or Gibson scale or something like that, just to do something different. I'm totally fine starting out, exploring this project for the first time, just doing the standard 25.5-inch. Check out Zeo Guitars. They do a guitologist model. I'll have to look that up. Thanks for the super chat, Wayne. I'll do a search for that right now. Zeo Guitars. Here's my question: is how much is it? $2,250 is how much the guitologist model is. So yeah, $2,200. $2,250. I'm not looking to do that. That's not what I want to do. I'll go look at his build though. It does look fun from the thumbnail. Oh man, could go baritone 27-inch. Assuming that the EART headstock, the EART neck pocket and neck heel is standard Fender sized, you could always do conversion. You could always do conversion neck on there, which I totally support. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know if I have enough heat on this channel to move specialty versions of this. I'll be very interested to see if we can move a fairly traditional, while I look at this thing that's got two crazy bridge pickups and extra switches and stuff, a fairly traditional offset guitar, sell air guitars, and they would be affordable. Oh man, with such a small run, I would just do a pre-sale 50 units at $500 each, $25K. We sold our last vinyl album in a 300 producer package and raised thousands of dollars to cover our pressing costs. Yeah, I mean, it's totally an option. Like, I think that 50 units. Yeah, maybe this is a false humility here, but I honestly wonder how many of these will actually sell. Hugh seems to think that I'll have the ability to move plenty of them. I think about 15 and I worry that we won't sell them all. Like, what if they don't all sell? What if I fund this thing and then 5 of them sell and I'm left with 10, and out of pocket, say they cost me $400 each. I'm left with $4,000 of guitars that no one wants to buy. Like, that's a fear that I have. And then you ramp that up to 50. And if I've got 45 left, let me pull up a calculator here. Where's my calculator? There it is. So 45, assuming production costs would be 400, which is a number I'm just pulling out of my ass right now. Yeah, $18,000. I would be out sitting on guitars that, yeah, oh, 50 is nothing in my opinion. Yeah, it's for this is my first time, guys. I'm a little afraid. I'm a little afraid. I have to be honest. I'm cautious. And I really, I want to test the waters. And that's one of the reasons why, like, realistically, a Kickstarter, a GoFundMe would be smart, is that it would officially test the waters and see how many people are actually interested in putting money into it. And I'm not going to do that right off the bat. When we have to get solid numbers and figure out what we're actually doing here. But without knowing what the interest actually is, without knowing how much money people actually are ready to part with to get a guitar that hasn't even been prototyped, it feels sketchy. It's not even a car, $18,000. The last car I bought cost me $7,000. I buy used cars. Highly, deeply used relative cars. I think my wife's car cost us 14,000. Oh man, I know it's going to cost a lot more the next time I buy a car. But I've never dropped that kind of money on a car. I drive a Nissan Sentra, guys, and it's rusty. Of course, Eric doesn't like something. Big surprise, guys. Eric doesn't like something. All three headstocks look like ass, in my opinion. I have some other headstocks I was messing around with here. I'm kind of fond of this Yamaha style headstock. Uh, it's really going to come down to, am I able to design my own headstock? If not, then it's going to be the standard EART shape. I was looking at this arrow shape, and then Hugh pointed out that he uses an arrow shape on his Cyclone. So I'm going to skip on that. I don't want to do the same thing he's doing. I like this Yamaha style shape, but Eric doesn't like that either. I mean, let's tempt fate and just do a Strat headstock on here and see how it looks. Definitely not gonna be doing a Fender headstock on here. Archin says both Yamaha ones look the best. Yeah, I love a Yamaha headstock. I absolutely love a Yamaha headstock. I feel like this one is like a fun in between, but I don't know. Maybe everyone's gonna hate it and they'll just say, "Don't do that." But I kind of like the angular nature of this. I don't know. I kind of like that one, but I agree that the Yamaha headstocks are great. Yeah, I got to account for lawyer fees. Here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. No one's going to be happy. No one's going to get exactly what they want here. This is not a design by committee situation. I'll take tips. I'll take, if there's enough requests for something, I'll consider it. But the heart of the project here is me designing something and seeing if people want it. It's not going to be designed by committee. So he says, can't be worse than what EART has at the moment, to be honest. Don't want to sound like an ass, but it's not great at the moment. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the EART standard headstock shape here. It's, is there, I understand why they're doing it. It's the Sir shape. It's, a lot of kind of boutique takes on offset, not on offset, on Strat style guitars, do that kind of beaky, kind of like serpent tail kind of headstock. I honestly, I don't hate it, but it's just not my favorite. Eric apparently just bought the Brad Lindsay Catologist signature meteorite. Sorry. So I'm out. Sorry. I don't know. I don't even know what that is. I'm sorry. Oh, wow. Well, yeah. Travis Taylor says Agufish Hunter is his name. Did a $800 limited run with Harley Benton that was so successful they are doing it again and releasing more this time. Agufish has Hunter has a history, like a 2 or 3 year long history, maybe longer history of designing for Harley Benton. So he has his stuff figured out. He already has that established. This is my first shot at this, guys. So I am I'm a bit nervous. I am going to come into this cautious. I'm not going to assume that I can do a 50 guitar run and sell them all and still need to make more. If we do a small run and they sell out great, then we'll ramp up production after that. I would love it. I would love it if I designed something that sold well enough that I could just say to EART, let's make this production. You pay me, commission on them or something like that. And, we'll go from there. I would love for it to be a production model and get the prices down wherever they can be, and have them be available as often as possible. Eric is complaining about my attention span right now. Dude, there's so many comments coming in. If I miss something, I miss something. I don't know. I don't see anything huge that uh did I miss? Okay. Anthony Evans says just do one color, one guitar to test it out. Smart Sol, if that works, release 3 colors with some changes after feedback. Eventually, there is going to be a prototype that I'll have in my hands before we move to production. So there will be a lot of, there will be documentation of what the guitar will actually be before production. So we'll be able to show off real details. Well, yeah. Correction says you just know this guitar is going to have a wiggle stick. Yeah, it's going to have a wiggle stick. I put offset trims on all of them. Here, I'll bring in the wiggle stick on this guy here. See, wiggle stick. And if people don't want it to be a trim guitar, they can get one of those plates where you just thread the strings into it, or they just, lock down the trim so that it's not wiggly. Here's my question. I keep saying I'm focusing on this. This is the guitar that's in my heart. In the comment section after the video is live, tell me if you would honestly prefer a more standard Jazzmaster style build like this. Do you want something that, has my seal of approval on it, different pickups, but something more conventional? Do you like this kind of slightly more wild, more pointy sort of shape I have down here at the bottom? Pickups are not locked in to this concept here, is still kind of open concept as far as I'm concerned. But do you prefer this shape? I'm going to start with this because that's what I want, but I don't hate this either. I also like the idea of eventually working on a Mosrite style shape. I'm going back to the Agufish thing. If Harley Benton wanted to work with me on doing my own variation of one of their Mosrite style things, I like that guitar a lot. I've got their Harley Benton Mosrite thing. I like it a lot. I would totally work on a variation with them, something with an offset style trim, or at least a Bigsby would be great. I would get away from the Strat trim on there. But yeah, I'd be totally open to that if someone from Harley Benton is watching. I should probably hit them up anyways. Cameron super chatted $5. Says, I really dig the Ernie Ball and Ibanez Talman style headstock designs. Clean string pull through the nut. My vote is for the JM with humbucker, by the way. The Talman headstock. I forget what the Talman headstock looks like. Oh, now I remember. I have. Don't I have one of those over here? No, I don't. I mean, this is kind of. Let me pull up a Talman. guess it kind of is. Sorry, I'll have it in shot here in a second. Oh my gosh, look. And there's a Ernie ball headstock in the same thing. Okay, there we go. I don't think we could even do the Ernie ball headstock, but something similar to that Talman shape there. It's not terrible. I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit too soft. I feel like this needs a bit more of a wing to it, you know? Either with that Yamaha style thing, this thing here that I slammed together, or this Yamaha style thing. Those are the directions that I'm personally looking. But thank you for the super chat, by the way. All right. Okay, so Fernando says the green is great, but bridge pickup has to be a Jazzmaster pickup. I mean, it is possible that it'll end up being a Jazzmaster pickup, but I thought, hey, if I'm doing a guitar design myself for myself that I think is cool, like I really enjoy this concept here, and I think it would make it more versatile. It would give you a humbucker sound option with a series parallel switch here. It would also give you two different flavors, two different positions, a single coil, so you could have a really bright, almost Jaguar style percussive sound on the bridge, or get a more thuddy sort of sound from this secondary bridge. It's kind of in between where a bridge and a middle would be. I mean, I could always like go DePinto with this. Get this pickup out of here. Oh, come on. All my layers are stupid right now. All right. Block. All right, here we go. Now I'm doing it. We could go DePinto and just, yeah. Look, it fits, guys. Why not? Why shouldn't we do it? 6 single coils, guys. Get this switch out of here and get these switches down here. And there we go. The guitar of everybody's dreams. 6 single coil pickups, 6 switches. Might as well go crazy. Is this the guitar you guys want? Is this exactly what you want? You know what? It doesn't, that might be a little bit too conservative, honestly. We could put a pickup on the headstock underneath the strings as they pass to the nut there. And we could put a knob up here as well. What would it look like maxing out Jazzmaster pickups? Come on. Screws behind. Group your objects, Ryan. What are you doing over here? Back it from here. I know that's a grouped object. How many Jazzmaster pickups can we fit? 3. Only 3 will fit. Is this what people want? Do people want a 3 pickup Jazzmaster loadout? Let's give it. Oh, you know what? No. Doing here. He switches to the side. We'll pull up this Strat style switch here for your 3 pickup selector. All right, that's kind of a I'm getting rid of the headstock pickup. That's almost like a reverend take on a Jag stang, you know? I mean, I could get crazy. We could, everyone's gonna want a different loadout. Everyone's gonna want it to be something different. But I'm gonna aim for, you know, this concept that I have in my head and go from there. That's not a bad idea. And that's the sort of thing that you could do aftermarket if you got one of these double singles in the bridge, one Strat single, and one lipstick. Yeah, that would be really cool. Give you Dan Electro sounds, like replace that black one there with a lipstick. It would be super jangly option on your offset guitar. I mean, you could also, you know, do the behind, take major modification, do the behind the bridge thing there, Mike Adams style. I want people, if we make these, I want people to get silly and get inventive and and like, and mangle them, tenderize them, do the things to these guitars that I do to other guitars where I mess up the paint and like change pickups and change hardware and stuff like that. Like I don't want anyone to get one of these guitars and treat it as if it's a precious collector's thing. Like, get wild with it and then show me pictures and I'll make videos looking at everyone's pictures and videos of their modifications. Oh, good news, everyone. Good news. Eric just canceled his order for the Neo Brad Lindsay. Now he's in. It's because I'm not showing the headstock, Now that he can't see the headstock, now he's in. Yeah, throw it on a fire if you want to. You want to get lots of views on YouTube, buy a guitar and throw it on a fire. Oh man, could we throw a slide whistle in there somewhere? Yeah, like I'm saying, guys, everyone wants something different. Oh man, that would be fun. 4 Jaguar pickups with every switching imaginable. That would be a lot of fun. Like taking the Cyclone concept, the Fender Cyclone, and taking it to the next level. See, Andrew says, if I'm being honest, I'd not mod it if I bought it. It would be a collector's item to me. I mean, if you want to do that, I can't tell you what to do if you bought it. I can't tell you. 2 trim bars. Oh man, did everyone see that guy? Ah man, we need to talk about that on the podcast. Let's see if I can find a picture of it. Split Jazzmaster trim. Let's see if it comes up. No, I'd have to track him down on social media or something. This guy made a Jazzmaster trim that's got 2 sticks. He cut the guts in half and drilled a hole, and it's got 2 springs, 2 sticks, 2 different plates back here that move independently of each other. It's wild looking. A B bender. Oh man. So yeah, I mean, this video is almost an hour long now. I think I've said everything that needs to be said. There's still not very much information. I'm hoping to wrap up this file this week, get it over to Hugh, and then we can present it to EART and figure out what the prices would actually be. I do have to factor in profit margins and stuff like that. It wouldn't make any sense for me to do this and not have a profit margin. But I'm going to try my very best to be really transparent with this entire process, because part of this is an experiment in seeing what could go into this sort of thing, like what the numbers look like. I'm going to tell you guys what the production costs are to have these made and the numbers that I have them made. I'm getting a weird phone call right now. So that to treat it like an educational sort of experiment, sort of experience. So like people get not just, it's for myself. I'm curious. I want to know what this process looks like. I want to know what goes into designing and building a guitar that's made by an import builder. And that'll give us all perspective on what other companies are doing, making all these various import builds that we see on our Amazons and things like that. I'm looking forward to that part of it. It's not just about making a guitar and selling it and having profit and stuff like that. Like if I can put some money in my pocket, I'll do it. But also like I want to do this just for the experience of it. Just to see how it goes, to see what the process is, to see how the reception is. You know, I mean, if this does really well, I kind of like, I'm not looking to sign any sort of exclusivity with EART or anything like that. If this does really well, I'd be open to other brands being like, hey, let's make, let's do a run with you too. Let's see if you can make a version of one of our guitars or something like that. Or let's see if if you made a $1,200 guitar, if people would buy it. Let's see, if we can do them in numbers where they can be $300 guitars, or like I'm kind of, or maybe pedal builders can be like, hey, let's have you dream up a concept and then we do the circuit work and stuff. And we already did that with the 50/50 pedal. I don't know. I'm very curious to see how this goes. So anyways, thanks to everyone who hung out watching this for the live stream. There was consistently 200 people here. I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me that people are interested in not just this project, it's just watching my videos in general. Like that's all still, I get to the end of the year, I get to December and I start getting nostalgic and I start getting introspective, I guess. And I still can't believe that this is my job and that, all of you out there are interested in what I do here on the channel. And things like this, like the possibility of making this is wild to me. That it's even a possibility that I'm exploring right now. So yeah, again, huge thanks to everyone watching and who has watched and is interested in this project. I really, really appreciate the audience. Like you guys make it all possible. I appreciate all the, the regular commenters that I feel like are, we're all friends now. I feel like, like I know you guys, you know me. It's all feels very personal to me. And, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to start tearing up and getting weepy here, guys. But yeah, let's wrap this up. Everyone watching after the live, please comment on the video. Tell me what you think. Ask me big questions. Pitch big ideas. There might be something obvious and wild that I didn't think of that I will incorporate into the design. And I am going to keep you guys updated through the process of getting these guitars realized into physical things. Hopefully it gets to the point where at least there's a prototype in my hands, and then we can go from there and figure out colors, figure out the fine details, figure out the cost and things like that. Figure out if it is smart, moral, all those sorts of things to do Kickstarter or GoFundMe's for this, or if it would be better for me to just fund it out of pocket and take that monetary risk. Oh man, it would be really scary. And my wife would be looking at me like, what are we doing here? What is this? But it is a possibility that it could be self-funded. We'll see. We'll see, guys. All right. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, dislike, leave me rude and nasty comments. Support us on Patreon. Click, I've got a link to Hutone Labs in the description. Go look at his builds, see the level of quality that he works with. He's going to do something very similar. He's doing a run of his guitars. I think he said we're going to be 650. And we're hoping to get our prices down by grouping his run with my run in a shipment sort of thing to get the shipping prices down. So that's part of what's going on here. And Hutone is also going to be a big part of the technical aspects of getting this guitar made so that there's the correct CNC files, there's correct measurements and things like that. He is a stickler. He is a perfectionist in a way I never will be. I could never dial this sorts of stuff in on my own. So yeah, give him some love by clicking on his link. And other than that, stay grounded. Bye everyone. Looking forward to reading your comments.